Wow, who could have predicted this week? I mean, I had a feeling that Apple was going to go up a little bit, but this chart is crazy. I entered this trade on Tuesday and the stock was trading down here at 127, and it went up Wednesday, it went up Thursday, and it went up Friday. I mean, this was such an unbelievable gain, and actually, I don't know if I played this wrong or not, you know, we never know. And that's kind of the fun thing with trading. Like, I had an expectation that it was gonna go up. I had no idea it was gonna be up so much. In fact, when I entered the trade on Tuesday, I ended up making an adjustment to the trade on Wednesday, the very following day, about an hour after I posted the first video, in fact. So let's go through the week's summary and see what I did as I chased this stock up to try to make some money off this trade, which we did. I mean, this was a great trade. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Levi Woods. This is Drawbridge Finance. This is an opinion channel only about money. Remember, these are not trade recommendations. These are my own trades that I'm making, and you're just seeing what I'm doing. One of the great things about trading is that we can do whatever we want. And in this case, I'm wishing that I had just purchased stock. I mean, if I had bought stock on Tuesday when I entered this trade, I would be up $11 a share already. So that would have been amazing. I mean, my goal is only to make $7,000 in the next 3 months, and having a massive jump up like that would have been a really great start to this trade. But unfortunately, I didn't. I played it the safe route. I was only playing with puts, so I was short selling put strategies, and my intention was that the stock was going to go up and the value of those puts was going to go down. This is an income generating strategy for option selling. That is the type of strategy that the wheel is. So this is not a long-term buy and hold strategy. This is a strategy to make money off the puts. So let's look at what happened. If we go over to the Patreon page, this is where I make the live alerts. Click on Drawbridge 50K and you'll see the post. So I made one January 22nd, which was the second adjustment. And January 20th at 9:13 was the first adjustment that I made. I literally started this the day before at 12 p.m. Now remember, I'm Pacific Standard Time, so 12 p.m. was right near the end of the day. That's about an hour before the end of the market close. Then the very next morning at 9:13 a.m., I made an adjustment, and I'll show you what I did. What was happening that morning with the stock chart was that I had entered the trade here late in the day, and then in the morning we had had this massive rally up, and the stock was trading at 130, just about 132. The positions that I had on at that time, if we look at what I had, so I'd opened a January 22nd 129 put, and then a January 29th 125 put. I had also purchased stock. I actually didn't talk about this in the last video, but I have been purchasing stock as I go along. So when I collect this income, I collected $211 and then $253. I was actually using that money to buy a few shares of stock. So that was $450 that I collected. I was able to buy 3 shares of stock at $127.92 for a total debit of $384. Now the idea with this is I'm a trader, so I can do whatever I want. I can manipulate this money in any way, shape, or form that I like. When I decide that I want to buy these 100 shares, it's just as easy for me to close out the contract and buy 97 shares to make up the difference. So it's easy for me to kind of bite-sized pieces and get into this trade in little increments. And that is what I did. So you can see at the end of January 29th, when I started the trade, I already owned 3 stocks, and the total investment value was $50,464, but I still had 2 open contracts at that time. So in the morning, when that stock jumped up and had that huge rally, I had to do something, and I was a little bit worried about this January 22nd 129 put. It was only a couple days to expiration, and it had lost a lot of the value. It was trading at only 37 cents. So, and I had sold it the day before for $2.13. I had made a bulk of the money off of that trade already. So what I did was I closed it. I just debited that 37 cents. You can see that the total debit was $37.63. So I had collected $211 to open, and closed it for $37.63. That's like $160 overnight, essentially. Then what I did was I immediately opened a new contract at a higher strike. So I'm changing my agreement, essentially. Some people refer to this as rolling up, but I was in an agreement to buy 100 shares of stock for $129 each, and I'm changing that agreement to buy 100 shares of stock for $132. And for that, I collect more money. So I was able to sell that contract for $3.97 and collect another $400. And then I used that to buy some more shares. So I bought 3 more shares for $131.99 each for a debit of $3.97. So you can see I was using this credit to then buy shares. So that was the transaction Wednesday morning. Now let's take a look at the next adjustment, which was Friday, because this thing just kept going. It was crazy. So now what I'm doing is I'm buying back that 132 put again. Now remember, I had just sold it on Wednesday for $3.97, and now I was able to buy it back for $2.03. So almost half the value again had depleted from that trade. So I was changing that agreement again. I was changing from buying a stock at 132 to then buying stock at 135. And it's really easy for me to do that. I just buy the contract, closing this contract, and then I sell a new contract at the higher strike, and I cut to collect more money. So let's look at the transaction page again. So we'll see what I did on the 20th. Opened the 132, and then on the January 22nd, I was buying to close that 132 and then selling to open the 135. We can see the debit here. So this is a $202 debit, and the corresponding trade to that was the $3.97. So you can see I made $200 on that trade. Now this is difficult to do. I don't want to chase this up too much. I mean, I don't want to be agreeing to buy the stock for such a high price just because it's going up and up and up, because it could easily pull back down. So I have to incrementally go up, and in this case it's very difficult. I actually adjusted both of them. I adjusted the 125s, I closed those and opened a 129. So then I was debited 57 cents and then sold the new contract for 118. So I'm actually putting a lot of money on the line here. I'm only collecting a difference of about $60, but I'm actually increasing my agreement by $400. So I am putting on more risk by upping this trade. But at the same time, the stock was continuing to rise up. On Friday morning, it was trading at $137. In fact, I bought one more share with the proceeds of these transactions and collected one more share for $137.37. So at the end of the week, the kind of final recap was that I ended up owning 7 shares. I purchased them at 127, 131, 137. And by the end of the week, I was holding 2 positions. I was holding a short 129 put and a short 135 put. So now I have agreements in place that I will be purchasing by next Friday shares for those 2 values. As long as the stock stays above those 2 strikes, then both of those will deplete in value, and I will be able to keep this entire premium that I've collected here on Wednesday, the 320 and the 118. So that's kind of the idea moving forward. Now earnings are this week, so I'm not really sure what adjustments I'm going to make. We're going to see what the market's doing. If we continue to see continued rally, I might just roll these way out in time and try to collect a lot of premium all at once rather than continuing to roll up the puts to a higher strike. If the market retreats down, then I might end up doing the same thing. That's the plan going forward, actually, is that I'm going to be rolling these strikes, the 129 and the 135, out for a fairly decent duration past that earnings announcement, which is going to come out January 27th. So this is pretty exciting. If you guys aren't following along, please do. Over on my Patreon, these are completely public posts. You can check them out by clicking on that Drawbridge 50K tag and see all of the alerts as I place them. And thank you for all my patrons. You guys have been amazing. This support this week has been great, and I hope to see you guys in the chat room tomorrow morning. Talk soon. Let's get rich together. Thanks so much. Bye.